Hey, what's going on, foul players? It is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022, and I'm out the farm today. I took a break from hunting and all that jazz. I've been out here about 6 or 7 of the last 8 days, early in the morning, either scouting or hunting, and feeling a little peaked, if you will. So I decided to sleep in this morning, but I did want to come out. I'm going to change batteries in the cameras because they're dead again. Those alkaline batteries just do not last when it gets below freezing. And check out the status of some of the water holes. We had a big rain come through North Carolina, I think last Wednesday. Yeah, so put maybe an inch or so down, not a ton. But it was kind of where the rain came through on a Thursday. On a Friday I scouted, water was up a little bit, but not high. And ducks were coming in. It was looking very promising for the season to come back in on Saturday. And then we got in here Saturday morning and the water had come up massively overnight. The creek and the river backed up. So I guess they got a lot of more rain at us, or a lot more rain farther north. And then when it finally caught up to us, it was much, much higher than it had been. So as a consequence of that, I think it's damaged some of the dams that are holding my water. So we're gonna walk around a little bit, gonna start down here at the bean hole, change the cameras, and take a look at what's going on. Once again, I'm Bruce, and you're watching Foul Play Outdoors.
You're watching the Foul Play YouTube channel.
Hey gang, before we get to the video today, the good stuff, just want to take a moment to ask you to do me a favor. Take a second, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave me a little comment. Ask a question. I don't care. Something. I want to hear from you. It's fun sharing ideas with you guys. But definitely give me a subscribe. I want to grow this channel. I want to build a little community where we can share ideas and just kind of share our love of duck hunting. So if you subscribe, if you like, if you comment, that bumps me up in the YouTube algorithm. More people see me, and then I get more views and more followers and all that good stuff. So do me that favor, if you will. Just hit the subscribe and like button, and I would consider it a personal favor. Thank you. Well, here we are at the bean hole, and while the water is not gone, it's very low. If you recall, the little dam over here where we put the water control structure in, I was out here, a week or so ago, and it was right at the top of that. And the beavers have even, as a result of that, have added to it, which is great. I appreciate them for that. And water was typically just below that horizontal 2x4 at the bottom. But now, obviously it's much lower. This was all water. Looks like the water came up to about here. There we go. Now you can see water came up to about here on the blind, and over here the ditch, I'm moving around so much, over in the ditch that drains this hole, I could not get through it. You can see where Rosie is right now. I tried to walk through that. It's like ankle deep right now. It was up over my waders, so I could not walk through that the other day. But I don't know what I'm going to do. We've got another significant rain, maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch, that's supposed to come in Thursday. I'm going to let the beavers do their thing and see what happens. Maybe they'll work on the dam. We're going to go look at the dam here in just a minute that backs the creek up into here. Maybe they'll fix it. Maybe they'll bring the water levels back up. If not, I'm going to have to come up with another plan. So let's go take a look at the dam. All right, here we are at the creek. This is the main creek that the beavers dam up that runs along the edge of the property. And the dam right behind me is the one that backs it up just right up here. It takes a left, and that's where the water backs into the bean hole. And this isn't what I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see damage here. This looks good. If you listen, you can hear a small trickle. Not much, not much. Now what I'm noticing is this hole over here, and this is across the property line, this had more water in it. I ran a drone over that a couple weeks ago, and it was quite flooded.
Okay, so I think I know what happened here. When this drone footage first comes in at the bottom, you can see that there's a lot more water flowing out. I think there's another dam farther downstream that must have gotten blown out, and that's what was backing the creek up. So I think the beavers are going to have to fix that before I get more water back at the bean hole.
Huh. So maybe they had, I don't think they had something blocked here. Yeah, you know what? I can see water. Let's walk down here. I can see water coming out. Now I know, yeah, water's running through. There's more current coming out of this. Okay, I think I know what happened. So all the way up here, the main creek goes up here. It takes a bend to the right. And it's overrun into this low area over here. And the beavers were damming that up. At least last year, I walked through here in a kayak. Beavers were damming that up and keeping water, for the most part, out of that. So I think what happened is they came over here. Maybe they were damming this up, and maybe that blew out. Or maybe their dam up here has blown out. I can't get to it without a kayak. But I'll try to hold still. If you can see, all the current is coming out of there. And that was higher. I don't see, and I can't get around with all the briars. I can't get around to see if there was any kind of a remnant of a dam that blew out there. That was higher. I really think that looked higher on the camera, on the drone. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe their dam up here is given loose, and they got to get to work on that. But as it stands right now, I am quite low on my water that supplies the bean hole. So interesting. Yeah, that definitely could come up 8, 9, 10 inches maybe. Very curious. Not what I was expecting to see. So right now I'm just going to kind of wait and watch. It's going to get real cold this weekend. It's going to be in the teens. And I think we're going to go for about 48 hours and not even be above freezing. I'm not going to come out here in that. Call me a weenie if you want to, but if it's going to be 14 degrees, I don't want to sit in it. I don't want her sitting in it either. So we're going to stay at home, and when it warms up a little bit, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we'll come back. So maybe the beavers will get busy out here and fix this. If not, let's go over here where the inflow to the bean hole is, and I'll talk about what I plan to do over there. All right, this is the entrance, if you will, to the bean hole. It's the big creek over there. We were just looking at the dam a second ago. And you guys remember, I showed you this before about how I put the plug in this ditch. Beavers built this ditch through here. God, probably, longer ago than I've been coming out here. So Tom and I plugged it up. We sunk the 4-inch corrugated pipe under there for controlling water. Beavers decided, once this got flooded, they were in there. I could see them on the cameras. They decided that needed to go because they want to swim through here. At the time, water was up. I said I'm not going to worry about it unless the water goes down. Now the water's down. Like I said, we're losing water out of the creek somewhere. I'm going to leave it be for now. I'll turn you around here so you can take a little closer look at it. I'm going to leave it be for now. Gosh, with the erosion of the beavers, it's almost completely taken out. But eventually I think what I'll do is I'll fill it back in with dirt, which is so much fun. But then I'm going to get a piece of, you can get a 4x8 sheet, or maybe it's 8x3 or something. You get a sheet of corrugated metal roofing material. I'm going to cut that across in a section so the corrugations would run this way, give it some rigidity. Fill that in with dirt. I'm going to drive that down in about 1 foot and see if the beavers can chew through that. Maybe they'll dig around it. I don't know. Maybe they won't. But I'm going to, if I have to put water back in here, that's what I'm going to do, if I've got to plug this back up. I'm going to have to eventually anyway. I think when the summertime comes and I drain this to plant, they'll just stay out of it. It wasn't a problem this summer. It won't be next summer. But I need to come up with a plan for the wintertime when the beavers want to do this. So, like I said, we're going to wait and see. If the beavers fix the dam, the creek comes back up another 6, 7, 8 inches, I'm just going to leave it alone and not worry about it. But if it doesn't, then we're going to be in here and we're going to be digging, and that's going to just be so much fun. So anyway, let's head on over to the creek, which is where I finally shot a duck out here the other day. Changed those batteries, and I'll just kind of show you the status there real quick. It's actually staying pretty consistent. Okay, so I mentioned that there was another dam upstream that was holding water out of that other flooded spot. I've zoomed in here. Hopefully the image quality is okay. That's exactly what happened, I thought, is that's blown out and that's letting the creek out. It's a pretty significant flow of water. It's not going to show up as good on camera as it does here in person, but that's where the water's going. So that's what I need the beavers to work on. Crossing fingers they get to work on it. That much water flowing, you think it'd trigger them to get after it, but we'll just see. Keep our fingers crossed. So this is the creek, and this dam sustained a little damage as well. When I was out here Saturday hunting, it's Tuesday today, you couldn't even see the dam. The water was so much higher. I believe what happened here is the way this flood came in. It didn't flood everywhere. It was flooded upstream of us, and I think that water came to us. It came up very fast. Like I said, I was out here Friday morning, and I was watching my cameras all day Friday. Water was staying the same. Right at the end of the day, it started creeping up a little bit. The next morning, I got out here, it was like a foot and a half deeper in all these places. By the end of the day on Saturday, it had gone down just about to normal level again. So I think what happened is it came up really high, and since it dropped so fast, I put a lot of current over these dams and they eroded. You can see water's really rushing over right there. And I hope the beavers get back on that. I really liked how high the water was. I'll walk over there and show you. Let's walk over there real quick and I'll show you where we were hunting this weekend, Saturday, when the water was so high. So beavers got a lot of work to do. They better get with it. Well, as you can see, the beavers are getting after it in here. There's some fresh cutting there. These aren't so fresh, but they kind of, I don't know if it shows up on this phone, but the little white tips just kind of pop all through there. Beavers have been in here. This, to give you an idea about how much higher this hole was, these two stumps right here were underwater when we hunted. So that's about 18 inches more water that was in here, which was awesome. I gotta say, I hope it kind of stays with that. I would love the beavers to make this bigger. Most of this was underwater. This was not. This was a little dry spot. But over here, where we set up, my buddy Jim came with me Saturday morning when it was so wet, and we were sitting here next to the creek in this little makeshift blind that we put together, and it was wet all around here. So it wasn't, I don't think we had our feet in water, but all of this in front of us was underwater, and I would love to see it come back to that. We'll see. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but this is where I finally shot a duck out here this season. I didn't shoot any here last year, but I did this year. So I was sitting right here. It came from behind me, zipped right over, landed in front of me. I jumped up and flushed them and shot one. So this is looking pretty good, even though there is significant damage to that dam. I think the water is, if anything, it's just a little bit higher than it has been in the status quo earlier. So we're okay here. I did just bump up 4 or 5 woodies over there that were sitting in the creek, right where I showed you where that other little dam on the other side of the creek is leaking. So ducks are here. I know they're not going anywhere. I just want my stuff to be good. So I got the cameras changed, the batteries changed over here. Now we're going to go over to the big hole and take a look at that, see how that's fared. All right, here we are in the big hole, where again we put in a water control structure, took out part of a dam the Beavers had built and then out of the pipe. If you look down in there though, you can see we definitely had some erosion. It actually made a little tunnel. This stuff here, I don't think the Beavers did that. I think that is the result of all the brush hogging that Tom and I did when we cleared this back before the season. I think that's just, this water was rushing out so fast that it kind of plugged that hole, which is saving my butt. This would be dry if that had not have happened. So, I'm gonna have to get some shovel work in here. This won't be too bad. This is not a big job. Just probably not much more than 15 minutes with a shovel. I can fill that hole back up. So I'll probably get out here. I think I'm gonna hunt in the morning. Maybe I'll bring a shovel with me and just do this before I go home. Because I definitely want this to hold water. This has been probably the most productive spot because it's the back hole as well, where Tom and Nate and I shot a couple. Nate came in here, shot a limit of woodies one morning, and they're still using it. Actually, if you look right behind me, that buckbrush that's going over across down there, that's where Tom and I sat with his son opening day in October. I sat right here Friday, just scouting, want to see where the ducks were flying, and had a big group of about a dozen or so just drop in out of the sky, land right there. I saw really good numbers that day. I saw 2 large groups of about a dozen, and I know they were 2 different groups because I saw them kind of back to back. And then lots of singles, groups of 4. I had 3, a group of 2, and then a single land back there, maybe more. They can come in the back and I wouldn't have been able to see them. So ducks are still coming in here. So I just want to keep the water. And if I may fill that up and put some gas in a pump and go ahead and pump it again. Actually with the freezing coming up, I probably can't. I don't want to, I don't leave that pump sitting out here when it's gonna be that cold. So maybe just let this rain kind of trickle some more in here and see what we get. So that's about it for today. That's all we were covering. Getting the batteries, changing the camera so we can track these guys here through this cold snap coming up, and checking on just the status of everything. I guess that's part of the game when you're trying to manage these spots for ducks. You always got to be constantly checking on everything to make sure that it's still working for you. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. One more last reminder, if you stuck with me this long today, give me a subscribe, a thumbs up, a comment, all that good stuff, and I would really appreciate it. Help me grow the channel. Once again, I am Bruce. This is Foul Play Outdoors, and if I don't see you again, I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. Thanks a lot.